Cynthia, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, my pleasure. What an honor.
Well, I want to talk to you about your journey in building your best life. You are a published author, and in fact, you have the title of your book right there behind you, The Magical Power of Three. And you're also a business and life strategist coach. You've been doing this for a very long time. You're very successful. But obviously, every journey has a beginning, and your journey has had its challenges. So take us through that journey.
Being a survivor of childhood molestation. So, it's even difficult for me to say that, right? When that happens to someone, there are so many different paths you can take. It's devastating, it's traumatic, it's trauma, not to mention, the trauma in the family as a whole. And so I had a choice. I could either go down this route and, be a victim. The choice that I made was more from a spiritual perspective. My grandmother used to say things like this to me: Mijita, if you're afraid, pray. If you are unsure, pray. And so I did a lot of that. Now, with that, I grew up really fast. I was exposed to things that a 12, 13, 14-year-old girl shouldn't be exposed to. And so I got married very young at 16. I had my first child just a few weeks shy of my 18th birthday. So I was a child having children. And then 14 months later, I had my second child. And then, life continued moving forward. I found myself married to a narcissistic, abusive personality, an alcoholic. I divorced him, remarried him, thinking that was supposed to be my path. You get married for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, right, till death do you part. Okay. And then I got pregnant with my third child. And during all of these times, again, saying to myself, I deserve more than this for me and my children. I want more out of life than this.
So what was it? What was it? Because my gosh, to go through all of that, I can't even imagine. What was it? Because a lot of people, we think it, right? I deserve more. Yes. I want a better life. How did you go from thinking it to putting it into action? Because that's a huge bridge that a lot of people never achieve. That is incredible.
Well, again, I go back to what my grandmother said: pray, pray. And then ironically enough, I have goosebumps from head to toe sharing this with you. Ironically enough, Daddy used to say this to me: you got to open up your mouth, girl, and tell people what you want in order for you to get something out of life. Now, Daddy knew nothing about anything that happened until I was well into my late 30s. Okay. So when Daddy was saying those things to me, he was saying it in a very loving way. You got to speak up. Mm-hmm. And so hearing both of those things, I used to pray and ask to surround me and bring people into my life that would help me, that would love me unconditionally and support me, but also hold me accountable to achieve the things that I wanted in life. Okay. Right. And so that's what got me through all of that.
What does that relationship with faith look like? And what has it brought into your life to be able to build your best life?
It's been everything. It's been everything. I make no decisions that I don't pray first. Now, I'm much smarter at doing that now at 55 than I was at 35. But yes, continuing to do that, always, praying, saying thank you, expressing gratitude for the simplest things in life, and then also asking for guidance. Am I making the right decision? And understanding my personality and knowing I'm fast-paced, talk fast, move fast, make fast decisions, right? That I need to be still for just a little bit and not move too quickly, and moving forward and not to react when emotions are running high. don't make decisions during those timeframes.
Having that foundation of faith, did that alleviate a lot of the fear and the doubt? Because I think a lot of people think, gosh, what if I never achieve what I dream of? What if I fail? I mean, I'm sure you've had those moments of self-doubt as well. How did you change that mindset of thinking, what it may never happen for me, to it's happening?
So in my younger days, I was terrified of failure. I was terrified of making a mistake in front of people, right? So let's use today as an example. Oh my gosh, do a TikTok. What if people laugh? What if people go, oh, that sucks? And it doesn't go viral, right? If people laugh. So what if they do? I mean, we've got to put ourselves out there. Failure and mistakes are not bad things. We learn from them. And so that was my number one aha moment many, many years ago. And that is, what did I learn from that experience? Because experiences teach, not words.
That's such a big lesson, because I feel like for all of us, maybe not all, but a lot of people are, the mindset is, I'm going to give myself permission to try. But truly, it should be, I'm going to give myself permission to fail, because I think the fear of failure is what paralyzes so many people from trying. So if we say, what's the worst that could happen? I fail, pick myself up. I learn from what I went through and I adapt and achieve. I think that is such an important lesson that you just drilled down. And I want people to really give themselves permission to fail.
Yes. And so here's the formula. The success formula is this. I give myself permission to fail. I give myself permission to learn so I can be successful. So permission to fail plus permission to learn equals my success. It's that simple. It really is that simple. Again, it doesn't matter what it is and how you view it. Just do it. Keep investing in yourself. So then that way you keep learning and growing and be comfortable being uncomfortable. If you're so uncomfortable that you're sick to your stomach, you need to stop and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What's going on? Because that means it's just not right for you. You need to, re-navigate.
And I think you also hit on a really important point, is just do it. Because I think we all have this idea of that perfect moment, that perfect up time. There's never a good time, right? It's never
right
all going to
now.
be aligned. It has to be now. And just to take that first step, you're talking about that momentum, and pushing yourself to just take that one step makes taking that second step, third step, fourth step so much easier.
Whatever it is that you want to learn, whatever it is that you dream about, dream big, or why bother, right? And so dream big and go after it. There was a book that I read that was suggested to me by my sales manager when I started my first sales job. And it was 101 cold calls. If you do 99 cold calls, by the time you get to 101, it will be like nothing. And so it's the repetition, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And then you start mastering that skill. And yes, you're going to make mistakes. Yes, I got thrown out of lots of buildings. So what? Oh, well, I would say, okay, thank you. I would walk out and say, well, I've been thrown out of better buildings,
So, but it's
other businesses,
you have to shift your mindset. And I think almost, have this mental, suit of armor, because a lot of us, and I've had this where I take failure so personally, and it just hurts me so much that you just never want to experience any of that again. But if you shift your mindset into thinking, okay, that wasn't a reflection of who I really am or my self-worth, it's a learning opportunity. That's monumental if people are able to do that. How do you do that? How do you shift that mindset?
Well, let's take personalities into perspective. Okay. So the 4 personalities, we have 2 personalities that are all optimistic. They'll tell you they're a realist. They're all about the facts. The facts of the matter are this. And more than likely, these 2 personalities will go, okay, they're going to look at the facts of the matter. Okay, this, and this. Okay, it's done. It's over. I'm over it. And they move on. And it's much easier for them. I'm on the opposite of that. I'm very, relationship driven. I'm very emotionally charged, as you can tell. If I sat on my hands, I wouldn't be able to.
Couldn't tell at all.
What I say to people like me is, you absolutely deserve to feel that way. Absolutely. Don't ignore those feelings. That's unhealthy. You're cheating yourself out of the opportunity to feel and experience what you just went through. And so if it was a learning experience, if it was a failure, pick a day, wallow in it, and then get over yourself and move on. And we can reflect back and learn or remind ourselves, what did we learn? Mm-hmm. And then leave it there and move forward. Don't go back and go, well, I can't do that because, that's what happened back then. So I'm not even going to try. No, don't do that, because then you're only cheating yourself, because at the end of our life and we're laying there and we're about to take our last breath, we're not saying to ourselves, wow, I should have spent a little more time in the office. Wow, I really should have put a little more effort in that project. No, we're going to reflect back on the things that we wish we had done. Yes. And so don't have regrets. Say, you know what? Yep, I did that and I failed miserably. And oh my gosh, I can laugh about it now, but it was painful as hell when I went through it. I get that. Been there, done that. I tried opening a restaurant, a little Tex-Mex restaurant in Daytona Beach on Orange Avenue. And I had it for a year and I failed miserably and went into a deep depression for about 6 months. And then I, got over it and move on. And it's completely up to us to brush ourselves off. Okay, let's go.
I think it's important, because feeling like a failure is such a terrible feeling. But I think if we can then take that, like you said, take that step back and think, how did I feel though when I have regretted not doing something? It's worse, because like you said, you're never going to get the time back, right? You can't go back and time travel. We all want to. The moment is gone, right? And so, like you said, it's knowing that time is so precious and regret is far worse than any failure that you could ever experience. Like, I wish I had said, I love you to someone. I wish I had asked them out. I wish I had raised my hand in that meeting and pitched myself for an opportunity. Not having those, that I think is a worse feeling.
Yes. But what's also, that is, well, yes, I should have done that. And you know what? I'm going to recognize when that comes up again, and I'm going to be ready. I might not speak up like I wanted to back then, but now I'm more mature. I'm more self-aware. So then that way I can. And so all of everything that we've talked about boils down to self-awareness. We cannot expect for anyone to love us, truly love us and accept us for who we are, if we're not willing to do it ourselves for ourselves. The 3 most important people in your life are me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I. If I understand who I am, what what I love to do, what my motivators are, what my stressors are, how I self-sabotage myself, because we all know when we're doing it. We feel it.
Oh, yeah.
We know it, because that crazy lady in our head goes, there you go, doing that again. And we go, shut up, I'm doing it anyway. And so self-awareness is key. Yes. Get to know yourself and understand who you are. So then that way you can then do a better job of your learning experience and driving results and living the life that you want.
There was one takeaway. What would that be?
Face the fear. So start asking yourself questions. Why am I afraid? Why am I feeling this way? What's the worst that could happen? Like when we were kids and we wanted to go hang out with our friends, right? Oh, well, they'll say no. So why bother asking? No, go ask. What's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say no. And then you turn into a 2-year-old and go, why? Why can't I go? I have a ride there and I have a ride back. This is who I'm going to be with. So we start pleading our case. And so basically that's what I'm saying to you. Have a healthy conversation, debate, spar with the voice, and at the end of it, say, no, this is what I want. So in essence, reason with it and be convicted about what you want. And as a part of that, write it down. Write it down. There have been multiple scientific psychological studies. If you type it out, yeah, that's great. It does have somewhat of an effect because of the physical aspect and action. But when you write it down, just the act of you going like this, where's my pencil? Where's my paper? I need to write this down. It's the critical thinking that's going on in your head. It's the intention. It's the purpose. Write it down. And when you write it down, the words, you're thinking of what words to write down. You're processing this. You're strategizing as you're writing it. Write it down.
And it almost makes it, I mean, when you actually can see it, you almost have written it into existence, right?
It makes it real.
It makes it real. It makes it real.
Every single time the sun comes up in the morning, it's an opportunity for a brand new start. And so what are you doing every single morning? What are your morning habits that are setting you up for success, right? Mm-hmm. So spiritual, how are we feeding our spirit, whether it's religious or not? And I'm not being religious with you, but how are you feeding your spirit?
Right.
How are you feeding your mindset and setting your mindset up to have a successful day? And so we say one of two things to each other. Oh, today's going to be a great day. Today's going to be a great day. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Or we're going, oh, today's going to suck. Oh, I have to go to work. Oh, I have to meet with this person. Oh, I have to go on I-4. So whatever we say, that's the kind of day we're going to have, right? That's the mindset we're going to have. And then third, very importantly, from a physical perspective, how are we physically preparing our body to manage all of the stressful things we're facing during the day? So those three things, what are we doing every single morning to set ourselves up for success?
Okay. Chapter 2 in the book. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I mean, I feel like we could probably just talk for hours on this.
For hours.
But thank you for sharing your insight and your journey and your expertise, because I think it's going to help a lot of people. There's a lot to unpack in that conversation, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get that feedback.
Absolutely. Yes.